Don Carpenter on News Talk 1270 KIML.
News Talk 1270 KIML. Don Carpenter Show. Welcome back. It's 6:29. Chris likes the bumper music. I guess I should turn on your mic so you can weigh in.
What it is, DC, what it is.
Yeah. Were you a big fan of Amy Winehouse, or did you just not even recognize this? You just
I didn't recognize it. I just kind of sway in my head.
I wasn't really a fan, but I like that bumper music though. It's very morning. It feels like you're just getting out of bed and you're still head's kind of foggy, which is me today. Mm-hmm. It's just one of those days.
And you don't want anything too slow, but you don't want anything too fast either. So it's a nice, perfect medium. But yes, I have every Amy Winehouse album. Is that weird?
Did she do more than one?
I have all of her EPs, everything, singles.
Okay, well,
I kind of have a whole thing, a whole wall dedicated to her at my place.
Well, for the messed up person she was, she did have a good bit of talent. I will say she could sing. Oh boy,
she did. But yes, there's a shrine up, and
with do you have bottles of alcohol, empty bottles of alcohol on the shrine? Well, I mean,
discarded needles.
Yeah, I mean, no Amy Winehouse, shrine would be complete without the look. I mean, it's a shame what happened to her. It's another member of the 27 Club, which is just if you and this is a public service announcement for the day. If you have kids that want to get into rock and roll music, tell them to not even think about it until they're 28. You can make it past 28, you'll live forever. Just look at Keith Richards.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Yeah, I
agree.
You look at Keith Richards. Now he started before he was 27, but I think he was past the age of 27 before this whole 27 Club curse started. Because you look at the names on that list, I mean, it's just a who's who of just massive musicians.
And your whole band should be. I feel like your whole band needs to be at a mature age. You can't just have. You can't be 28 and your band's average age is 22, because then that's going to give you trouble. Yeah,
you're going to lose the whole band when they get to be,
right.
5 years in, when you're getting your peak success, you're going to lose your entire band. So
that's just too much to handle. And Amy Winehouse, we knew she was going to be in trouble from that, based on that one song. It was like, hey, Amy, go to rehab. And she was like, no. So
it's a miracle she made it to 27.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I had two things I wanted to talk about, and actually the second one was a music-related thing, but since we started with music, and I'm going to have to check on this to see if we play this song over on Fox Country, because I don't know a whole lot about country music, so I really don't I really don't know. I've heard of this band called Little Big Town. I guess they're a pretty popular country group. They have a new song out called Girl Crush, and the whole idea behind the song is the female singer is jealous of someone that stole her man away from her, and says, I want to have blonde hair and magic touch and ruby red lips and all this stuff. Well, apparently people are misinterpreting the lyrics. Instead of the way the song goes, how she wants to be like this woman that stole her boyfriend or husband or whatever. They actually think that she wants to steal the woman away from her husband.
Oh,
so
what's wrong with that?
Well, look, I mean, it's the 21st century. I mean, even if that were the case, is it really that big of a deal anymore? But stations are getting complaints.
Oh boy, here we go with this.
And I actually had a short conversation with a radio consultant guy over this yesterday, and I said, look, I mean, 99.999% of the time when you get a complaint that says, I'm never going to listen to your station again, in this case because they're playing a song that they're misinterpreting to be offensive. It's not if it were an actual offensive song, I could understand if it had swear words and there are songs that aren't fit for radio play, for family radio play. This isn't one of them. I mean, they're misinterpreting the song.
Yes.
But 99.999% of the time, when somebody makes the effort to complain about the song you're playing, saying, "Oh, I'm never going to listen again," they listen again.
Yeah,
people just want to be heard. And that's why when you respond to these things as a radio person, you just say, "Well, thank you for your concerns. We'll take it under advisement," and keep playing the song.
And keep playing the song, because like you said, I think I'm glad you brought up the point that it could be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
I don't really care if she meant it. She's not meaning that literally.
No.
As far as Girl Crush is concerned, but
even if she did,
who cares? You don't like the song, change it when it comes on. Don't listen to it. But that's the thing that gets me. Quit complaining to people. Look, as a person, I've been at the station 7 months. I get complaints sometimes for some of the jokes I make.
And everybody gets complaints about something. And
as I get over it, I'm going to make the jokes, and just if you don't want to listen to me, that's fine. But I don't understand the complaint. There's plenty of people on air I don't particularly want to listen to. There's plenty of times where I watch a show and it's offensive to me, but most of the time I laugh with it, even though it's kind of offensive to me. I'm not going to write a letter and complain about it. But you're right. That's the best way to handle it. You know what? This is kind of a bigger issue in the sense that how we judge lyrics. This is why I'd never be on the bandwagon of judging any type of lyrics, because rap lyrics have gotten a lot of complaints. Metal lyrics get a lot of complaints because you don't know the context. For instance, in a lot of metal, and you know this, a lot of the albums tell a story. The whole album will tell a story. So you might hear a song or a sentence or two that's talking about the murder of somebody. You might think, "Oh, that's horrible," but it's within the context of a story.
Right.
So you shouldn't judge that. You shouldn't judge any lyrics ever written, because it could be within a story. You don't have any clue. You just hear one sentence and you think, "Oh, he's talking about murder. That's horrible." Or, "Oh, he's talking about this, that, and the other, and that's terrible." You don't know the context of it. So you should never judge lyrics from that standpoint, especially judging something you can't comprehend or understand. So that's why I'd never judge lyrics.
Well, and I'll say this, and you're absolutely right about especially song lyrics and the big moral panic back in the 80s, where they were going after all these heavy metal bands with Judas Priest and Iron Maiden and all those guys. You're right. It would be like going to a horror movie and complaining that Jason Voorhees is killing people. He's not really killing people. It's a movie. In this case, it would be a song. It really does. And again, sometimes a lot of this is just somebody wants to be heard. People, especially, and I'll say with this little big town story, the people that are upset about this have been abused by the media quite a bit. The people that favor traditional marriage and that kind of stuff. I mean, they have been abused by the media quite a bit. So I'm not going to come down too hard on the people complaining about the song, but they probably should listen a little bit closer and understand that there's nothing wrong with the song. And again, there are songs that aren't appropriate to play on family-friendly radio, which most country morning shows are family-friendly. I'll
come down on them hard for the simple fact that if you're for traditional marriage, which I am, I'm for traditional marriage. You're hurting your argument. Well, when you pick on song lyrics, you make yourself look like a complainer. You make yourself look like a victim. You make yourself look like a whiner. actually come out and talk about why you're against something, and don't get offended. That's our problem.
Now, going after fights in the wrong places does hurt the cause.
And that's my main point. That's why we should come down hard on them, because it hurts any type of movement, whether you're for gay marriage or against it. You can hurt any type of movement by being petty. Being petty doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah,
it makes you look bad.
Now, you do make a good point about that, and I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on that, but I wanted to pick your brain on that because I do like talking radio and media type stuff. And look, I mean, just listen to the song. I'm going to check and see if we actually play that song and see if we've actually gotten any complaints.
We do, by the way.
We do?
I've heard.
I
don't know about complaints. I don't think we have, or I think I'd heard about it, but I do know we play it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we do play it. So if you're thinking about complaining about this song, listen to it. It's not about what people are complaining about. It's just about a woman that's jealous that her husband left her, and she wants to be more like the woman that he left her for, which, of course, is another argument. Why would you want to change yourself for somebody else? But that's another argument. That's for another day.
And please stop throwing fast food drinks on me when I'm out in public.
Well, now
that's not a good protest. I'd rather have a mean, nasty email.
Now, what if they just bring you a drink? What if they bring you a drink and it's still in the cup? See, I'd take it.
I'd drink it.
Yeah. Free soda's fine. Just not on your shirt. Okay, so we only have about 2 minutes, but I just wanted to kind of roll some actual sports stuff past you. The NFL's in the process of their annual meetings. They're working on rule changes. They've approved a few. They've knocked down a lot more. We'll just go past them real quick. They've added replay review for the game clock at the end of the second quarter, the fourth quarter, and overtime if more than 1 second is remaining. So they want to make sure they don't mess up the game clock. I mean, I guess it's all right. I mean, if it doesn't slow the game down, which it will, but I guess making the game clock reviewable is probably not a bad thing. I'm not going to complain about that. Let's see. Team also authorized the league to research the use of fixed cameras and stadium video and replay systems instead of just using the TV cameras. And they can use other cameras. They'll put them in the end zones and that kind of stuff. That's good.
That's good. Oh yeah,
that's a good idea.
If you're gonna have replay, you might as well cover all your bases.
You should have cameras everywhere. Okay,
just like at my apartment. Yeah, cameras everywhere.
Yeah. Oh well, make sure you have a sign at the door telling people.
Oh yeah, that's court ordered. It's there.
Yeah. Well, there's expectation of privacy inside a house. You got to watch out for that. All the other replay proposals were voted down. There was 15 different replay proposals, and a lot of them overlapped. A lot of them were basically you could challenge anything. Okay, so they introduced medical timeouts, new standards on peel-back blocks, protection of defenseless receivers, increased enforcement of chop blocks, and a ban on pushing teammates at the line of scrimmage. That's mostly during kick blocks, where they would just push guys into other guys. Again, no big deal. They didn't do the 9-point touchdown, which I thought was it's crazy. It's video game type stuff where you could get a touchdown, go for 2, and then if you get the 2, you could kick a 50-yard field goal for 1 more.
Oh boy!
I mean, it's a ridiculous rule, but it would have been fun to see it happen. And
I'm glad they kept it the same.
And finally, I don't want to change
I just want the field goal post moved up in the end zone again. That's pretty cool.
Talk about player safety. Okay.
And no padding on it.
No padding. Okay, and finally, the owners passed the rule proposal making the practice of players declaring themselves ineligible and then lining up in the slot illegal. So my prediction that the
Patriots thing, yep.
My prediction that the NFL would make that illegal came true. So I'm about 1 for 100 on NFL predictions this year.
I got to give it to the Patriots, though. I mean,
Well,
that's pretty good stuff. It didn't bend the rules.
It
wasn't a rule. They had to make it a rule because you outsmarted them.
Yeah.
Can't fault the team for that.
Well, I mean, they were following the letter of the law,
Yep.
and it only worked once. I mean, they were taking advantage of a slowness in the officials signaling to the defense. That's all it was. It was taking advantage of a weakness in the officiating, which again was completely legal. I mean, they get credit for that, but it was kind of dirty, and teams figured it out. So it's not going to work anymore. So you might as well just get rid of it as a rule. They'll find some other way to skirt the rules, or outright cheat. It's the Patriots,
probably.
As long as Belichick's there, which is sad because he's probably the best coach in the past 25 years, and he's going to have this taint on his record the entire time. So what do we have going on in sports?
Well, we have a Rider baseball and Gillette College cross country.
Okay. Also, I'm going to play a little bit of an interview with Coach Holst next hour. Just give us a little preview of that too.
Well, Lady Camels won state this past season, and it's just an interview, kind of an overview of the year as a whole and how he felt when he won state, and of course just kind of the program. They've won 9 state titles in his 15 years. So
yeah, and we were going to do that on Tuesday, but since I wasn't here, we weren't able to do it. So we'll do that after the 7:00 break. So we'll be right back. News Talk 1270 KIML.
Listen every Tuesday morning at 9 for the Tuesday Morning Quarterbacks on the Don Carpenter Show. News Talk 1270 KIML.